Okay, cool.
Hi. Well, thank you guys for joining us today. If you guys are walking around, come to the IRCODE stage. We're just going to be doing a little chat about art and interactivity and technology. So, Andie,
Hello,
very
Brittany.
excited to do this with you. So, we have been working with IRCODE. When we first started to launch our technology, the first place where we started to do it was art, right? Because art and artists are a huge priority for us as a company. For anyone who knows us, our CEO is an artist himself, as well as several of us within our company and our executive bench are creatives. And so understanding how we could connect the dots for people in the art space and museums is heavily important. So I'd love for you to tell a little bit about what we're doing in this space, because it's so exciting.
Sure, absolutely. As Brittany said, protecting artists and educating our community about art and the creative world is definitely one of our core company values. And what we're doing in the art space extends also to the cultural space, cultural institutions. We already allow artists to create their own account so that they can upload and create their own IR codes with their art so that they can share their information with others. In addition to that, we are working with museums and cultural institutions so that when you walk into a museum, you can learn more about what's around you rather than taking a photo and trying to get really, really, really close and take that picture of the QR code and the description. You can actually scan a piece of work and go back later and look at your history in the app and explore what you want to know.
And what are you hearing from the artists that you've been talking to, or even the museums and galleries that you're having conversations with, about why they're excited for this, right? I think we get such a good response. What are you hearing that their biggest challenges are that we kind of solve for them?
Sure. With artists, I definitely think that the idea that an artist is in control with what they're giving out to the world is a very, very important part of why they create their work. It may be that they want to share their inspiration. It may be that they want to share their medium. It may be that they want to capture the audience attention in a completely different way than perhaps what the viewer may think. In addition to which, in museums, I really think that they're excited because who wants a QR code? Who wants a QR code next to their artwork? No one. They're excited to be able to take back their exhibits and their space and really allow visitors to engage with it more organically than having QR codes spread throughout the exhibit.
Yeah, it's really a preservation of creativity, right? And anything that we're doing, it's about being able to respect that time and energy, whether we're talking about the ad space with creatives or we're talking about artists. We put so much of ourselves into some of this work, and then you have to put a freaking sticker on it, and it sucks. And so to be able to give that tool, but also to be able to allow that wherever that artwork is for them to be protected now, right? We have been talking a lot in the creator space and talking to a lot of artists there, and they are finding it really hard to break through because they have this oversaturation now of digital art, of interactivity, of so many people coming into the space. So, one of the things I think we've been seeing a lot of is bringing that pathway, right? Bridging that experience with everything. So tell me a little bit about how you feel like we can even build further and that accessibility factor and why it's so important in the space.
Sure, absolutely. One of the big important aspects of art is that it touches us all in a different way. And we all are different and we have different abilities, different accessibility issues. And we're not just talking about physical issues with trying to get in spaces that may be difficult, and museums are working hard to combat that, but also things like being visually impaired or perhaps neurodivergent and really wanting to be able to go back and learn about art and learn about what someone's putting out into the world at their own speed and in their own way.
Yeah, and I think what I love about this area and this territory is that there's so many stories that aren't told, right? There's an artist story. There's a background of the craft of that artist that is their approach to art and their perspective and why they create, right? And there's so little that you can get off of just learning about someone from a social page or something like that. This gives you the ability to really hear a full artist story in a way that allows them a platform to tell it and really gives them the respect that they deserve. I think for museums, it's also really interesting because, as you said, museums are losing a lot of, getting people in the doors and all of that. But there's a legacy and a history to some of these properties that is exceptional. So are you hearing from museums when you talk to them, like, that their brand and their story is just as important as the artists that they represent?
Yes, absolutely. And that is one of the really, really amazing features about IRCODE is you're interacting with the entire world around you. And so it may be that there's a gargoyle. It may be that there is a plaque or a statue or a cornerstone, and the museum can share its history that has built the platform for generations of additional artists or creators to contribute.
Love that. Yeah, I think also it's about community, right? And I think that we've walked away a little bit of having these centers of art or centers of creativity be part of the community. Like, I remember growing up and having art, theater, and really kind of those deep conversations be a real part of what made me who I am, right? And I think that, bringing more people into the art world, it's more important now than ever, right?
Yes, absolutely. And getting people into cultural spaces. Our world took a major hit and people were forced to get their content online. And museums really met that challenge and made so much accessible. I can remember with my son going to online museums when we could not go physically to the museum. And it was amazing. But now we need to get back into the spaces where our communities are. And I really think that it's an opportunity. IRCODE is a great opportunity to allow people to connect really organically and authentically with museum exhibits through technology. It's going to add rather than take away from their experience, and they get to do it together. We get to do it as a community.
Yeah, and I think that you just kind of really hit on something that I hadn't actually thought about, but now I'm going to use this. When the pandemic fueled QR codes, right? Because we needed a digital interaction where there was this separation of space, and it allowed you to explore, but do it in a way that was private to you. And now we're entering back into a world, and we've been back into a world where it is about social and community and bringing that back. That what IRCODE does that's so different is it bridges the two. It offers the digital experience that we've all become so normed for, but it brings you back into that physical environment. So it has that nice kind of ability to connect the dots.
Yes. Absolutely. And that's what we're trying to do. That's what we're doing as a company. That's part of our mission. We are, we're engaging with the world around us differently. And that extends to art, museums, history. It's everything.
Cool. Well, thanks, Andie.
Thanks,
Appreciate
Brittany.
it.